Gentlemen, what can I say? It was a weird year. I normally do about 3 times more than I did this year, so we only got kind of beginning, middle, end. I don't even know if we really got a lot of beginning, so only a couple videos this year. You're probably not missing it too much, and I'll get to kind of maybe a reason as to why, but wanted to finish off with at least a video. If you haven't looked, technically they're just announcing the last award, but it is not going to swing things, so I might as well call it so I can get in touch with the person. And as per usual, it seems like this league, about more than half the time, I've been able to deliver the cash in person. This year I will be able to do the same. Anyway, enough of that. We are going to get to the league results. You are going to have to tolerate a couple minutes of me talking about this year, though. That's going to come first. The crazy thing about not making these things is one of the nice things about making these annoying videos that some of you watch and some probably don't, I get stuff out. And because I can't talk to you all as much as I would love to talk to you all about basketball, I kind of imagine at least that I'm having that conversation. Now, I'm going to mention this probably a couple times throughout the video, but two of you I'm going to see very, very soon, and you will hear a whole lot more than this. And I can't wait to hear a whole lot more back from you about talking about all this stuff. But one of the things that I think define this year for me, and this is going to sound like I'm down on the NBA and I'm down on this pool, but it's going to come around back in the end. I did not watch much basketball this year. And for some of you, I know that a lot of you don't watch as much, or you follow the one or two teams and that's kind of it. And you'll see as many full games as you can. You certainly follow in the playoffs. But I usually try and watch a little bit more, especially since I started kind of coaching a bit more. And I really do like to watch different styles and different play. But honestly, I find 9 times out of 10, not surprising for me, I turned to college for that. So in the NBA, I definitely still want to see it. I love the different kind of basketball. I'm not as rigid as I was when I was in college. I would say things, and a lot of you heard me say things like college basketball is where it's at, NBA's The NBA I do think has gotten better in general, but the regular season this year honked. We could talk player management. We can talk injuries. We can talk what a lot of people are talking about right now in terms of the number of games. But the problem is I don't see any of those really getting fixed. Now, what I think they're trying to fix is the throwing of some of the games. And some teams, I think the video I did during March was about how many teams had packed it in already. But what that meant was if I looked at the schedule, which I did recently, I think there was only 20, maybe 25 games that I actually cared about all season long. Like, yeah, I really did want to, like when the Spurs were rising before we got to watch a lot of them in the playoffs, I did want to see them play. And I did want to see how they did against the Denvers and the OKCs and the Bostons to an extent. I wanted to see how some of the East teams lined up against each other. But on any given day, you didn't know what kind of roster you were going to get or what kind of the scheduling overload because of the sheer number of games. If a team did a back-to-back and then they're about to do a second back-to-back, which happened more often than you think, by that fourth game, I don't care who they're playing because they're not playing who they normally would play anyway. They are load managing, and it's probably appropriate because of just the wear and tear on the bodies. I don't see the league ever dropping games, so that part is not really going to get fixed. And so that's why when we get to the playoffs, there's a little bit more emphasis. Now, unfortunately for this year, though, with the playoffs, with the style of play, there was a couple amazing games and amazing series, but not as many as you actually think when you go through and balance it out. Now, that's going to sound, again, like I'm getting down on things. I'm not. And actually, the league, though, is in a very interesting place, and I'm a little bit down on them. But our league is perfect then because I get to set things, I get to just live with it, and I get to ride those teams a little bit more. So actually, I do like that I'm in this thing because it kept a league that I think I would have lost a lot more interest in had I not been in this. So for me, that's one thing. I think the other part, though, that kind of hit me, and this is where, speaking of what's going on in my life and some of your lives in the next little bit, NBA Summer League coming up, it did make me think a lot trade deadline. And this is where I could literally, if we sat down, any one combo of us sat down with a beer in hand, we'd probably talk for about 2 hours straight, just about Jaylen Brown, which is, sorry, Rennie, I know you're a Boston fan, but holy crickets. The Lakers being just kind of the white answer that I didn't know that they really wanted to be. I don't know what the Hornets are necessarily thinking. I think the Giannis situation is, it's finally over. So we can, I'm assuming we have to wait at least a few more months so we start talking about that. I think there's a lot on the go. And then thinking about it, the sad part is the league has now evolved to a space where the off season is more interesting than the on season. That is not sustainable for a long time, but that's kind of been the last couple of years, save a few big runs. Now, granted, all of this can just be taken away. If you're a New York fan, then you were swept up in it. And this was the most amazing finish. And I guess that's all it takes. Maybe what I'm really saying is my teams haven't won for the last little bit, and don't even get me on the Kawhi bandwagon. I cannot wait to talk to some of you about that one. But I think it's interesting. The league is not in peril, but it's as deep, if not deeper, than it's ever been in my lifetime, I guess. I don't know if that's going to help it in the long term if they don't sort out some of these issues. The off season should not be more engaging than the on season. I shouldn't be more excited now than I was 3 months ago. That might be an issue. All right, it's about that time. These were our picks just to remind us if you want to go back and feel awesome and or stupid, great place to be. If we go to their team points first, I did have this, I'm going to move myself slightly. I did have a chance here with the Thunder and the Spurs and the Celtics. There's a world that exists where I had 3 out of the top 4. As you know, that did not happen. I had 2 out of the top 4, but I didn't get the title over top. One shy of Shea, who, 4th pick taking the Knicks, which now, I mean, that actually was a fairly gutsy pick at the time. They were considered top 3, I would say, preseason. But remember, we didn't really know how that would fit in. I think for you, unfortunately, going for the Jazz, and I did split the points like I said I would last year. That was a bit of a vote in. Other than that, you at least had some teams that scored. So the Jazz, probably your bad pick. You could have picked the Nets instead. But other than that, 3 out of the bottom 4 actually finished there. So can't really ding you on that one. I think the big one, Rennie, kind of busted you here. You did have some picks in the middle. I mean, the Pacers and the Bulls didn't kind of pan out for you. Pistons being your big pick. Horst did all right with yourself. You really needed either the Timberwolves or Lakers to make a run, and Dallas and Pelicans not doing so hot did kind of burn you a bit. Chainer, we can go through and talk even more, but your second pick overall being Cleveland, they were the darlings, and in another world, they go another round or two, but didn't really work out for you. And like I said, I was hit or miss. I can't blame myself for the Wizards, so second highest there. But when we get to player points, this is where it gets super impressive. I'm out of it. I'm just going to take myself out of it all together. If Derek White is your leading scorer, you're not going to win. I would like to say kudos to you all, because 4 out of the 5 picks that we picked were the NBA first team. So pretty good there. Cade being the other one. So Horst, that was a massive pick. And speaking of Horst, another world exists where Jokic goes a little bit further. Curry had another month or two, and your kind of mix-ups here. You had, a good pickup at the end. 30 points, if you look back historically, is quite good. Rennie, you had another kind of, you were Luka or nothing, unfortunately. You were busted here with just some of the injuries that really kind of kicked you. Kind of just moving up a little bit. Obviously, Chainer doing a great job, but you were really just kind of couple player dependent in another world again, whether it's injuries or whether it's just kind of availability. Didn't really pan out your way. I'm obviously just toying around with everyone here because bam and bam. Now, obviously, Victor Wemby, when he's healthy, I think we all know he's probably going to be the top scorer in a format like this. But remember, a world existed where he was almost not going to qualify and he would have lost most of these points. I think you accidentally took the wrong Thompson, but actually you took the right Thompson. I thought I had a steal there. I did not. But Brunson was the league winner. We all had a shot at him. Remember the midseason tournament, which is super hard to predict. And this year we added the East and West MVP and the Finals MVP, which really helped pad him up. So SGA, Brunson, and Wemby were really the players you wanted to have. SGA went 4th, by the way, just throwing that one out there. And 2 of them went to one team. So I think you can figure out in this go, when you win both, I don't know how many times that's happened. That means you really win the pool. Now, just going to the player points quickly. At the time, I have not put in the Citizenship Award, but that is worth, as we can check, those points. Oh, I should have made that green. I already have that. Sorry. I just have attention to detail. There we go. 2 points ain't going to help anyone. I mean, realistically, it's going to make me feel a little bit better if I get it, that I almost caught up to Chainer, but not quite. Shea, you took it. Wire to wire. You kind of had a good run. Wemby staying healthy was huge. And like I said, it really was your players. Bam was a great pickup, but your 2 big guys and your accidental Thompson, what can you say? Congrats, buddy. You got a 1 note coming your way. Now's where I make that blank promise that I all mean and I hope I can keep up with. Next season, I hope to have a few more of these. Maybe not every month. I liked the every month, but maybe just chunk it up 3 or 4 throughout the season. And certainly, I got to do a little bit better in the playoffs. I'm a little overwhelmed this year for a couple things. Living with somebody makes it a little bit more challenging this year. I don't like recording stuff with someone else around in the room. You sound like a crazy person. I feel like a crazy person when I'm looking at myself, recording myself, but they're there and here it just feels weird. So I will have to get over that or find some space to do it because I do like doing these things. Hopefully you do as well. It's an easy way to kind of get things done. But right now we're wrapping it up. Now's kind of the off season, as you will. For a lot of us, fantasy football starts very, very shortly, couple months, or if you're in keeper and dynasty leagues, it's already started with trade talks. Woo. In the meantime, though, like I said, Shay, you're getting that crisp 1 bill coming your way. Congratulations again. Huge victory to sweep both. Well done. To everybody else, I hope I get to catch up with you soon. 2 of you, I know I'll catch up real soon. For everybody, though, hopefully you're doing well. We'll keep up. And if I don't see you before, we'll see you next season.